So here we have Nick, first time on our casting couch.
Bit nervous.
What an honour it is to be the first person we get on the couch. And tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm glad to be the first person on the couch because that means it's at its cleanest. So that's always a bonus. But no, I'm Nick, and look, I run a YouTube channel which is just after my name, Nick Grabau. You can check it out on YouTube. And because I'm not lucky enough to have a car collection like Sean, I just play make-believe and do sim racing videos. So I got more cars than you, but they're all fake.
They're all on the computer.
That's it. With my friends.
Yes.
On the internet.
You got a better steering wheel setup than me.
I do, yeah. But I have no wheels and I can't drive it anywhere.
It's a thought that counts.
Yeah.
What do you drive and what have you done with it?
So I drive a 2015 Toyota 86 GTS, and I haven't done a whole lot to it. I know that there's a lot of people out there who just modify the hell out of these things, but I didn't want to really invest too much money in performance. I didn't want to turbo it.
Where's your Rocket Bunny kit?
Yeah, my Rocket Bunny kit. Yeah, it's still in the shop.
And your 14-inch wheels, 14-inch wide wheels.
That's right.
I should say.
Nah, look, all I've done is just a couple of cosmetic mods, really. Chucked a boot lip spoiler on it, changed the wheels to some 18s, made them a little bit wider.
So they're not like a washing machine dish.
That's correct.
They're not.
No, it's just we had to get rid of those Prius tires as quickly as possible, and put some Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on it. And I just changed the taillights and stuff as well. I didn't think it needed all that much to change, really.
Then the Pilot Sport 4s is probably the best mod you could have done to an 86.
Yeah, that's right. You don't feel like you're going to just spin out in every wet corner. And it still allows you to slide a bit too, so that's good.
So what plans do you have for it?
Well, I don't think I'm going to keep it for too much longer. Probably maybe another year or so. Maybe not even that. I didn't want to spend, as I said before, too much money on performance on it. I think I'd rather spend the money on something else that already has a bit more power. I have been looking at the prices of A90 Supras, even though they don't come in manual, which is a bit annoying, but it doesn't matter. So we'll see if I can get my hands on a yellow A90 GTS Supra. That'd be pretty sweet. Otherwise, I think I am waiting to see what the new WRX STI looks like when it comes out at the end of this year or early next year, whenever that's coming, because it's on a new platform and may not explode at the sight of oil loss.
They haven't put a price in concrete yet for that, or not even the specs on the car in concrete.
I'm thinking it might be in the 70k plus range though.
Yeah, and so it puts it right in the sights of the Supra.
Yeah.
If not, even more.
Yeah, it could be. By that time, I think the Supra will probably have dropped it, into the 60s.
Depreciated.
Yeah.
They have come down a fair bit since the sky-high price that we saw when it was dropped.
Yeah.
So
It can't last forever, right?
It was offensive when it first came out, but now it's coming very reasonable.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the time to buy.
So what is your favourite car?
Well, I think I have kind of two answers to that question. Because I have a favourite attainable car and then an all-time favourite car. But my favourite attainable car has to be the Toyota Supra Mark III Turbo A, just because it's, the epitome of late 80s, early 90s styling, pop-up headlights, target top roof, all this sort of, I don't know, that's just my jam when it comes to design of cars.
It's that Vice City era.
That's right, yeah, it makes you feel like you're in Miami Vice or something cool like that. But overall, I think my favourite car of all time has to be the McLaren F1. And I think that's really just because it was an absolute engineering feat. It was the fastest car in the world for over a decade, and still, holds records for the sort of performance output that car created, and the following that it has now, even today. It's still, it's so massive in the world of cars.
Nothing made a ripple like that, I reckon, since. The Veyron did a bit.
Yeah, but it didn't last as long, and it's already been replaced.
It lost its mantle pretty quickly.
Something like the Veyron, gets replaced with the Chiron pretty quick.
Yeah, it did.
But the McLaren F1, everyone knows that car.
Yep. It didn't just beat it by a couple of kilometres an hour. I think it was the XJ220 or the EB110. It just knocked it out of the park by like 30 kilometres an hour as a top speed. And then it was just like, catch me if you can.
Yeah, and it won Le Mans.
It did. That's probably a very agreeable number one car for a lot of people, including myself. So what got you into cars?
Well, funnily enough, Sean did. I've known Sean for 25 years of my life. And, you know, ever since we were kids, even talking about cars, dreaming about what cars we'd have, Sean drawing Supras in his diary every day at school. You know, you couldn't help but be around cars and car stuff when it was, you know, hanging out with Sean. Yeah, he started flipping cars as well, buying, selling stuff. You know, and then obviously the cool car collection he's got today, all sorts of things like that growing up. Just, you know, that's what really got me into cars, especially the JDM market.
What is your dream 5-car garage?
It's always a tough one to answer, but I think, you know, I've thought about this.
Not the building, the actual.
Yeah, I'd like a 6-car garage, but no. I reckon the top 5 have to be the Ferrari 512 Testarossa in red, of course. Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster, and that has to be in yellow. Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the 992, and that's in green, of course. The McLaren P1 GTR, which you know, based on my comments before, you might have thought I was going to say the F1, but you know, I think as a car to own and actually drive and not be terrified that you're going to die every 5 seconds, it has to be the P1.
One that you can take to the shops.
Yeah, except you can't take a GTR to the shops because it's not road legal, but you can pay $700,000 and get them converted to road legal and waste your time. I would keep it as a track car. And then as something I would actually drive to the shops, it has to be the Toyota Supra Mark III Turbo A. And that's got to be factory fresh.
As if Toyota just remade you a brand new one.
Correct.
So if you had $100,000, what would you buy, why, and what mods would you do to it?
Well, if you look at my dream 5-car garage, for $100K you can only buy one of them. So that would be the Mark III Supra Turbo A. And I think I'd spend the rest of the money just really bringing it up to factory fresh condition. So engine, full reco, interior uplift, full respray, and then just try and get it as close as I can to, you know, how it would have looked when it came out of the factory. And then I'd probably just do a couple of tasteful mods to it, you know, get some period correct wheels, you know, and probably just keep it at that. You know, I think it's probably something that's becoming so popular and becoming more and more of a collectible that it's probably better to not go overboard and actually do something, you know,
the father of the Mark IV, the A80.
That's right, yeah. And people are starting to realize that where this car came from. You know, everyone knows the Mark IV, but not everyone knows the Mark III.
I think there's also something cool about the 80s-esque nowadays as well. I think it's not just the hipsters that know about 80s being cool. Right. Yeah. I think the whole synth wave, I think like the Weeknd's given everyone a bit of a taste of the 80s being cool.
Yeah.
So people are looking for those boxy cars.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think 80s cars are coming swinging.
Yes, it is.
Schlongs.
Didn't the Weeknd have
what
an
here
FC?
for.
Yes, the Weeknd did have an FC. So yeah, that's a similar shape. You know, the Testarossa. You can see a theme going with the cars you like.
Yeah.
The Testarossa is that iconic 80s box, or one of the prettiest boxes you can get.
Yeah.
And then there's FC's probably similar taste, but yeah.
Anything with that pop-up headlight style and a bit of box shape.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Yes. And if you can pop the roof off, it'd be pretty cool as well. Straight Miami Vice.
Absolutely.